Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about our good friend Miss Lori Vallow. I'm sure you've heard about this story blowing up recently. Now, Miss Lori Vallow, she's accused for killing her son and her daughter. Now, her son had autism, her daughter was only about 16. There's a bit of an age difference. Now, before we even get into that, there is also a family issue where her husband, I believe it was her fourth or fifth husband, crazy, he ended up getting killed by her brother. There's a whole web of craziness happening with this family. So let's get straight into it and figure out what happened. Man, shout out my women out there. She got the Glock on the hip. I have no idea what kind of Glock it is. It's probably a Glock 17 full size, something like that. Shout out my lady detectives, man.
Like they don't care.
Well, I think with high school, it's like they're just pumping.
But when she was in elementary and junior high, all the teachers worked with her. They were nice about it. But by high school, there's so many kids that just don't care. And I was like, just take your.
Okay, first of all, she seems like she's kind of like on drugs or something. I don't know. She's super loose and groovy. I don't know. Maybe that's just how she always acts, but.
So smart. Let's just take it, see if you pass it. She passed it.
And got a really good score?
Yeah, she passed it with like college ready in every category the first time.
Well, and now she can do what she wants. So
exactly.
She's better off that way.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'm going to say I like this woman-on-woman dynamic because you'll never have the same insight as like a woman would have going against another woman. Obviously, seeing her as a suspect, but...
Okay. I know Laura's your first name, right?
Yeah.
Lauri.
Lori.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
And then what's your last name?
Vallow. Vallow.
And your date of birth?
Lori Vallow.
And your phone number?
Why are we blocking out her date of birth, guys? Like...
And you live at the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, I know this sounds silly, but it's probably the easiest way to start is just to tell me what happened. And then so you can start what makes the most sense to you, and we'll just work our way through, and I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions just to kind of clarify.
Sure.
Going back to Chris Watts, investigators like to give you this open-ended like ability to go wherever you want so that you can tie yourself up. So you can start in the middle, the end, the beginning. It doesn't really matter. Same as Chris Watts. He's like, well, basically just, lay it on the table and basically we'll just go from there. They want you to have as much freedom with your story as possible. Let's see what happens.
So I know you talked to the initial patrol officer.
And he just got information. He didn't say anything.
So yeah, if you can just kind of tell me kind of what happened. It sounds like some of this may have started last night or something along those lines.
Right.
So start where you think it makes the most sense.
Okay. So,
Glasses come up, she's displaying intentness. Honestly, after watching all these videos, I don't think anything is done casually. You know what I mean? Everything is done with a certain purpose. Let's continue.
I told you. It's a crazy question.
well, so we moved into this house 3 weeks ago because he offered to get me a house here where all my family is.
Okay.
We were in Houston. And so he's like, we had decided to separate or whatever. So he's like, well, I'll pay for a house for you and for JJ and whatever, because he's all about JJ. He's never about Tylee, but he's all about JJ. Because we adopted him together. He's his great nephew.
Keep in mind, JJ is the younger boy. He has autism. And then she has another daughter who's 16. Okay, these are the two she's accused of, well, not yet, but accused of killing. Let's continue.
Nephew. We adopted him as a baby.
They adopted him.
And so we adopted him as a baby, and so we've been raising him together. And he travels all the time for business, so he's used to just going back and forth. So he's always gone like Monday through Friday. So
before we move on, I just have to say, I had to say it. This video is so clear. Shout out to clear videos. We need more of this shit because I love it. I hate seeing that grainy shit. But let's continue.
He came when we first moved in and brought me stuff from Houston, like a U-Haul, and then he hasn't been back. But it's all these threats on my phone all the time, you know, like whatever, all these things. And then he told me...
What kind of threats?
Just... You'd have to read them to see, but he's always mad at me, right?
Okay.
And he doesn't want a divorce, but I don't like him and don't want to deal with him, so that's just how it is. Like, so we married for 14 years, we dealt with it for 14 years, of him being horrible to her. Like, he gets in huge fights with her.
Wait, I'm trying to figure out who her is. I'm assuming her daughter? I'm a little confused, but...
Yeah, a lot of things. But anyway, so he said, I'm coming Wednesday night, all of a sudden. I want to see JJ. And I told him, I said, I will never keep JJ from you. You can come see him whenever you want to. Come take him to school, whatever. Like, I'm not going to do that.
So when you initially moved, he had said he was going to buy you a house. So you moved here with your...
Yeah, he was going to rent us a house.
And so you moved...
All my family lives here. So we lived here for a long time.
Okay.
And then he moved us to Houston.
Okay.
And we were there with my son. He was out of school. He didn't have any of his, like, services, his DDD, his anything. He, like, ripped him out of school and said, we're moving.
Okay.
And I didn't go with him at first. And he took him. And I let him take him. And I didn't file anything or whatever. And then he filed something against me and said, I'm only going to get supervised visits because I'm crazy and blah, blah, blah. You know, the story. And
I'm not going to lie, you look fucking crazy. Just honestly, all the pictures I've seen so far, I don't know too much about this case, but this lady looks fucking crazy. So he may not be wrong for saying that, but let's figure out. Let's let the story blossom a little bit. Let's see what's happening.
So I just didn't talk to him for like 30 days and let him take care.
Okay, first of all, she didn't talk to him for like 30 days while he has her child. So we already see some neglect here, you know? Obviously he's with another parent, but 30 days, you know, a month.
Care of him and let him see what I've been doing for the past 7 years, because men need to do that. You know, I have 5 kids, I have grown kids, I have grandkids. Like, okay, you're going to threaten me that you're not going to let me see my child without supervised visitation? Okay, do it for 30 days and see how long it lasts. You're begging me to come.
I understand that. No, I feel that. If you think he's capable enough as a parent and, you know, he took the child and you're not together anymore, I understand that. Fine, take him. 30 days. Let's see how you handle it. So far, I can't really fault her for that, you know, as long as he's a trustworthy parent, which I'm sure she believed he was, and let's see where things go wrong.
Come pick him up. Yeah. Which he did. Just like, come back and whatever. So I moved in with them to Houston for the family, you know, and Tylee went with me. We drove to Houston from here and left all our family and all his support, all my son's support, like his cousins, everything. And we were there, and I enrolled him in school there. I tried to start all his services, and it takes forever. Yeah. You know, it takes so long to get that done.
There's no easy transferring.
There's no easy transferring.
You start from the beginning.
It's a totally new thing. Yeah. And he didn't do any of it in those 30 days. So he just had gone without services, without even applying. And I'm like, do you even realize? Because he didn't ever do it in the first place. I did it. Long story. I'll keep it short.
I'm sorry. She seems like she is on something. Like, she seems like she is off something, bro. Like, she's just too in the zone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so basically she's saying that her, I'm assuming, ex-husband had the child for about 30 days. And when school time came, he didn't really enroll him into anything. And nothing was really done because he didn't know what to do. So, you know, she's kind of putting it on him so far. So let's continue.
He hasn't been here in a couple weeks since we moved in. He came. He was very nasty when he was there, but he travels for business. So he went back to the Houston house, and he's like, I'm coming on Wednesday night, and I'm going to come pick up JJ and take him to school Thursday, pick him up Thursday, take him Friday, whatever. And I said, Casey wanted to come to the house. And I said, you can't come stay at this house because you can't get along with Tylee. She's a minor. She has to live here. Yeah. So because he gets in huge fights up there. Okay. And she hates him.
Tylee, or whatever her name is, that's the daughter. So apparently JJ is back home already. I don't know. Her story is all over the fucking place, but we're gonna get grounded in a minute. Let's continue. Let's just get her shit going. I want to see what the detective has to say to her, because clearly she should, like I said, she gave her an open-ended question. Go nuts with it. So let's go.
And so like, you can't stay at the house, so I will book you a hotel, because he stays in hotels all the time because he travels for business, and the business pays for it, right? So I said, I will book you a hotel nearby.
What does he do?
He works with teachers and their retirement plans, but he goes to them at their school.
Oh, okay.
He mostly works in California,
Okay.
no matter where we live. And we lived in Hawaii, he'd work in California, he'd work in Texas. He has like books of business in different areas. And so he just goes wherever.
Okay.
It kind of just gives him freedom that he doesn't have to stay home every day and take care
That's
of
cool.
social needs.
Yeah.
It's like an excuse, right? So I've done that myself for the last 7 years anyway. And I was a single mom before I married him with my 2 kids.
Yeah.
And he had 2 kids. We got married, tried to make a family. You know
Yeah.
how it goes. Anyway, I got him back into his school. His services, I met with the DDD yesterday, and they finally are getting his services back, but we're paying $125 a day to have him back in school because he's so out of his routine. He's been a nightmare on the floor, kicking stuff, hitting stuff, walls. Like, he just ripped him out of his life.
Yeah.
So, anyway, just how he is, because he only thinks about himself. So. He says, coming to get JJ, and JJ's like, I don't want Dad, because he knows Dad took him away, so he was freaking out, right? So I didn't tell him he was even coming, like Dad's going to come take you to school or anything. So he didn't bother me last night, which I was surprised. I was expecting kind of an ambush for him to kind of like come over or be just mean and say, it's my house, I'm on the lease, I'm going to stay here, kind of thing. Because that's kind of his macho attitude. And so he came this morning, I was getting JJ.
I mean, if his name is on the lease, I wouldn't really say that's a macho attitude. Like, if you put him on the lease, then, you know, legally he can't go there. So, you know, that's an issue that you have to take up with him. Now, I wouldn't expect him to come if he gets into fights with the little girl, which I highly doubt he really does. Why would he come over anyway? So
he got in last night, but he wasn't at the house last night.
Yeah, I didn't hear from him, except for he texted me and said, I'll be there at 7:30 to pick up JJ.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, that was good, because I didn't hear from him. And then he came over in the morning, and he's like banging on the door. I'm like, oh great, here we go, you know. And I was just going to be nice. I'm just going to be nice as possible. And I had JJ stuff all ready for school. And so.
Do you remember about what time he got there?
He said he'd be there at 7:30, but it was more like 7:40-ish or 7:35. I don't know.
Okay.
But I remember looking at the clock.
Okay.
Before, and with my grown son.
Like physical how?
Like got into a physical fist fight with my son when he was 16.
Okay.
And he came after Tylee 2 times in Hawaii.
Okay.
And like went like he was going to hit her, but then I got in between them. Right.
How old was she when that happened?
Probably 13 and 14.
Okay. So this morning he comes back in and...
He comes back in, I wouldn't give him his phone. He was screaming at me to give him his phone. He was very worried about whatever was on his text that he did not want me to see. And so I was just holding it there, and he was screaming at me. And I was kind of walking around the house with it, so he couldn't get it. He's like reaching for it and stuff like that. And so Tylee came out of her room, upset, and she had a bat. And she told him to leave her mother alone, like, right? So she was really whatever, and he's...
all right, she's continuing to paint him as the bad guy. Honestly, I don't see where the detective starts to turn on her, but we'll see.
Screaming at her, don't you hit me with that bat, blah, 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 blah. And then my brother heard all the commotion because he was in there in bed, and so he came out into the main room, and I guess whatever...
What's your brother's name?
Alex.
Alex, okay.
And then he just started, he was screaming and he was super upset and whatever, and he's yelling at Tylee, don't you hit me with that bat, and blah, blah, blah. And so Tylee, I guess, I don't know if she swung at him or what, but he like grabbed the bat from Tylee and then went to like hit Tylee with the bat. It was, and I was right there, they were right there, and my brother grabbed him from behind, like just to stop him from hitting Tylee.
You go like this, like he grabbed him like...
Yeah, from behind, like just kind of to pull him back. And then they got into the thing, and he's hitting him with the bat, and they're on the ground, like, grappling around or whatever. And then, it was all
And he
quickly.
And he hit your brother with the bat while they were grappling and stuff?
Yes, he was hitting him with the bat, like swinging the bat, because I had it in my hand. It was all really quickly this towards me, and I was going around the other side to try to just get out of his range where he couldn't hit me. And then I had told Tylee, because she was on the ground, because after he took the bat from her, she fell back. And so I told her, I was like, go get in the car with JJ. Like, I don't want JJ coming in to the house, and I wanted her out of the way. I wanted the kids out of the way of whatever this fight was going to be. And then,
do you remember what your husband or your brother were saying or yelling during all of this?
All right, long story short, her brother kills her husband. So this is the beginning of the whole family turmoil. I thought this was going to be about her kids, but no, this is about her kids losing their father. So just to clarify that. Now let's move through.
If they were at all?
just kind of get off me, out, or whatever. They were like, don't talk to my niece that way, whatever. Like, it was, I don't remember specifics, but they were kind of both, they were kind of in the heat of it. I don't think there was many words that I remember.
So Tylee goes outside.
Yeah, she was outside.
And then what happened?
Then they got up from that, and my brother had stepped back, I guess, and then Charles was coming with me at the back, yelling at me to give him his phone still, because I had it in my hand. It was all really quickly. And then when I went around kind of in the circle, then my brother was there.
When you said when you were going around and he was coming at you with the bat, how was he holding the bat?
Just like that, like backwards, almost in one arm.
Like he was swinging it backwards? He would have done like
he would have swung it backwards at me, not frontwards.
Okay, yeah.
He was a professional baseball player.
Okay.
So
Why is that
it was a good idea for Tyler to get out of that.
Probably not the.
I mean, he played semi-pro.
Yeah.
And he was, But, and then I was kind of turned around, and we were all right there in that room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot. And
so you heard the shot?
I didn't see the shot, I heard it, and then I came back around and I saw that he was on the ground.
Okay.
And was freaking out.
Yeah.
And so I was just freaking out, and it just went into mom mode. I'm like, I've got to go to get JJ to school. I've got to get to the kids. I just felt like I got to get to the kids. And so I just went outside and to see if they were in there okay. I didn't want them coming back in the house when all that was going on. And got JJ in the car, and he was trying to come in. And Tylee was looking at me with the crazy eyes, like, what just happened? And I told her to get in the car and we're going to take JJ to school. And I just left.
When you came back in and you saw him on the ground, where was your brother? Did you see him where he was at?
Yeah, he was right in front of him.
Okay.
It all happened very quickly.
Okay, so she's basically describing that he came over, they're arguing, somehow she got his phone, and from there, they get into this big argument, and he ends up on the ground. And then she just takes her kids to school, and she just leaves that situation in the past.
I mean, I feel like I was there because I was right there, and a second later. I just went around the kitchen to get away from him.
Did your brother say anything to you at all? Do you remember?
No, we were both just in shock.
Okay.
It was just I didn't say anything. I went out with the kids just to check on them first, and I was going to come back in maybe, but I didn't. I was like, I just have to get him to school.
Okay.
And call the police, come back, whatever.
Did anybody say did you or your brother say anything at some point about calling the police or calling 911? Do you remember?
Yeah, he called me.
Okay.
And he said, are you taking JJ to school? And I said, yeah, we need to call the police. And he said, okay.
Okay. So he called you when you didn't come back inside, basically?
Right.
Okay.
Because I was in the car for a minute, and then I was like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want JJ to go inside, and I
Okay.
didn't know what to do, and Tylee was freaking out. I was trying to get them away from the scene.
Understandable. Do you, and you may not know this, so, because I know you heard the shot.
Hey, it's about time to put her on the grill. It's about time to start grilling this lady because something's not adding up for this detective.
Do you know at what point your brother had the gun? Do you know if he had it when they got in their first fight, or did he have to go get it, or do you know that at all?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
And do you remember if you ever heard your brother?
I didn't see him ever leave the room.
Okay.
So it was so fast. All that was so fast. Like him on the ground, rolling around, and I'm screaming. And
this probably happened in a couple seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it was like super fast.
And I don't know if you know this or not. Does your brother normally carry a gun? Like, I carry a gun everywhere I go.
Right. Like, I know he's a gun person. Like, he has guns and things. And
okay.
He's good with guns.
Did you know that he had one with him?
No.
When he came over?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Because he's very, very professional with guns.
Proficient, professional. Responsible is usually a good
right, but responsible with guns.
And then, do you remember if at any time, so you were trying to get away from him, and you heard the shot. Prior to the shot, do you remember at any point hearing your husband or your brother saying anything to either of them?
Damn, so apparently her brother shot her husband? I didn't even know that was part of the story. Jesus.
No.
So my second very ridiculous question is there anything else that I didn't ask about or anything that we didn't cover that you think is important? I always ask that just because I wasn't there, and so we're going through something that happened a super small amount of time.
Yes. Can I step?
Yeah, go for it.
What is?
Just thinking.
She's so weird. She's like one of those hippie chicks. Not hating on hippie chicks or anything, but she's like twos in for me. Like, I feel like she thinks the detective is on her side, which she's definitely not.
He was just so angry, like super scary.
Did you
know how you take your phone away from like a 16-year-old and they freak out? Like their world disintegrates. Like I've taken my phone away from a 16-year-old boy before, and he's like wanted to kill himself because like they kidnapped him. That's how it was. It was like if something on his phone that he does not want me to see, that he was like freaking out. Like
why did you take
the
the
point
phone
where I thought he would
in the
hit
first
me in the back of the head to get the phone.
Okay. So you thought, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you thought it was possible that he was going to hurt you.
Absolutely, he was going to hurt me and Tylee.
Okay.
Not JJ, he would never hurt JJ.
Okay.
And he hurt my brother. Like, he was going, like, ballistic about, it was bad.
Okay. I'm going to go talk to her real quick.
Okay.
And then if, obviously, we'll be here for a little bit, hopefully not too much longer. But if you think of anything or there's anything that kind of pops in your head or something else that we didn't cover, obviously. So I'm going to go talk to her for just a little bit, and then I'll kind of come back and check with you, and then we'll kind of go from there. So I know my partner's talking to your brother over in one of the other interview rooms. So we're going to just try to get, as much done as we can and go from there. Okay? And then, is there anybody that you need to call or anything, or you want to wait a little bit?
I don't know what I would say.
No. And wait a little bit, we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know what I would say.
And if you want to, you can think about it. So we do have victim services that work within the police department. They're right over here. They're not cops, they're civilians. And they do, Jessica, who's out there with the fire department, so they're kind of our crisis response. They come right away. So our victim services that work in the department are kind of more long-term type support systems. So they're just a really good resource because they do a lot of stuff with our families and things like that, and can help with support services and questions you might have.
She's been through so much.
So it might be a good
I just
idea.
can't stand for her to have to go through all this.
Yeah, it might be a good idea maybe before I take you guys back today that I get one of them to come in and maybe sit and talk with you guys and see. And it's not something they.
Okay, so this is before she murdered her kids, I'm assuming, because they're still talking about her as if it's her daughter. You know, she's still shook up about him attacking her mom, the whole thing about her taking his phone and him going ballistic. So I think this is pre her killing her kids, but we're gonna get into it. We're gonna figure it out.
The victim services, Denise, is here. So I kind of told her just a little bit of what happened. So if you're good with it, I'm going to have her come over and I'm going to introduce her to you guys so you guys can talk for a little bit, which kind of works well too because I need to run over to where my partner's at and just talk to him a little bit. That way you guys will have a little bit, hopefully, extra support if you need it. So I'm going to go grab Denise real fast and then introduce you guys. Okay?
So I guess she had, turmoil with her husband, didn't get along with the kids. But I want to know what turned her from this into the cult mom, you know what I mean? So we need to go a little bit deeper from this interrogation and figure out what happened in between this span of time.
Hi. Hi, sorry. I'm sweaty. That's sweaty also.
So she's gonna take you over to like a conference room so you guys can sit and talk and stuff. And then you can just, once you guys talk and kind of, you can decide if you're comfortable with Tylee coming in or whatever.
Okay, sure.
And then we'll
I just didn't want her to be left alone in
Yeah,
by herself.
yeah.
She's freaking out. Like,
so we keep kind of popping in and checking on her and
I
stuff.
just didn't want her to be alone too long.
Yeah.
We'll be as brief for as long as you want, okay? I'm here to try to, you got lots of choices when you talk, so we'll just get started and then then we'll go from there. Does that sound okay? All right, thanks.
They handed me this, but that was just out of his room.
All right. I mean, I think everybody thinks she's just the, harmless mother, getting terrorized by her husband. Now, I'm not saying he's in the right either, but this kind of just shows you her mind state and what she's at right now. Honestly, I thought she was on something. She's just really chipper, really high strung. That might be her natural personality, but I could already see, the problematic tendencies in her behavior. But anyway, we're going to stay close to this story, figure out what exactly happened. And until then, guys, stay safe, stay inside, and I'll see you in the next one.